Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss show. And in today's episode, so I had seen this video on TikTok, and at times I will see videos on there where it'll have me like questioning, like your just day-to-day life and stuff. And this video, it didn't really have me like questioning nothing. It more so wanted me to just defend people out there that do it, and they're doing it because, they might be in a tough spot, or, like they're, overall like asking because they got like good intentions on what they are going to do with what they receive. But anyways, so topic in today's episode will be, is it okay to ask? More so, like, is it okay for men to ask a woman for money, but is it okay to ask your significant other for money? Now, I do feel like early on in the relationship, like, if you guys are, like, just now seeing each other, like, y'all are in the talking stage, like, y'all just met, like, literally 2 minutes and 34 seconds ago, and whatever them, like, smaller seconds and stuff. If they're already jumping to it on asking you for money, like, hey, real quick, before I even get to know your name, can I have $200? Abandon ship. Like, literally jump, get a parachute, and just jump clean into that water. Do what you gotta do. But anyways, but I feel like after a while, like, if you do feel comfortable with this person and they're not going to do anything like wrong with the money, like if they're doing it to like aid their addiction in something, like for an example, if it had been me, I would not expect, my significant other, my girlfriend or wife, whoever, to give me money so I could get me a pair of Jordans. No, I'm like, it's either I use my own money or I'm not getting it at all. But let's say if I'm in a tough spot, there's an upcoming bill, or there's, something that I need to pay, and I'm like, dang, I don't even have the money to do that right now because I got my money tied into other things. So if it's a situation like that, then I'm like, oh, okay, well, hey, real quick, I will pay you back because I am going to be getting paid. So if it's a situation like that, then it's like, okay, I will update that person. Like, I will legit be like UPS, like, how like they got like that tracking thing. That will overall be me. I'm like, okay, so the money is now in transportation to my bank account. The money is in my bank account. The money is now heading to your bank account. It has arrived. So, but my thing is like, I don't think it's wrong if a man asks. I don't think it's wrong because, like I said, if they're in a tough spot, they're in a tough spot. But if it's like to aid their addiction in somewhere, if it's for some petty stuff, like something that's only gonna be there for the moment, or if it's like, if it ain't something, if it's something that they can buy, then I'm like, all right, cool, like, they can do that. But their whole mentality or the whole mindset of like, oh, they're a man, so they should have pride. They shouldn't be asking a woman for money. They shouldn't be, the provider and all of that. I'm saying, I know women out there that have been the providers in relationships. I know that. I know that for a fact. Now, I've never been in a relationship like that, but I'm just saying, when you hear other situations. Look, I'm friends with people that like they literally post a whole their whole relationship on social media like after the breakup. So yes, I have read stories like that. I've had friends tell me stuff like that, and and it's stuff where it's like, okay, like, did you trust them with that money? If so, then it's like, okay, at the end of the day, that's on you. Like, you trusted them with that money. Now, that's why I'm like, look, and it could be in any situation where it's a friend, family, significant other, random person. You need to pick and choose who you're going to trust with money. And sometimes it may be wrong, sometimes it may be right. But at the end of the day, like, that's your gut instinct about that person. If you think they're going to do things with the good intentions. Now, can people trust me with their money? Yeah, I think they overall can. Like, I think it was like a piece of hair or something like fell down on me, but I was like, what is that? But anyways, but yeah, overall people, they can't trust me with their money because I know I'm not going to do anything bad with it. Like, my thing is this. it will be the last thing that I do to like, and that's why I think a lot of people will overall trust me with their money, with, you know, giving me money and things, because they know, for one, I know I'm going to pay them back, and two, I'm like, I don't ask people for money. Like, I'm trying to think. Last time I had asked somebody for money, it's been years. It has been a while. So I'm like, I don't go out and it's like, you know, my thing is like, and if I were to, I feel like, does it count if you pay the person back? Because I feel like, okay, then everything's been canceled out. So technically, like, but the last time I asked somebody, you know, for money and I wasn't able to pay them back, yeah, it was like years ago. That was like when I was in school and stuff. So that's, I'm like, and it was like, I think it was it my parents? Might have been. Yeah, it was definitely mom, dad, somebody. But anyways, I'm like, that's like that, but that's like kid stuff. You know, I feel like once you got to a point in time in your life when you reached a certain age, it's like, okay, you guys start being responsible. You guys start like paying people back if you're gonna be asking them for stuff. You can't just let that stuff slide. You can't just let that. I wouldn't even want that stuff to slide. I would not. My thing is like, if that person was just like, oh, you know, if you can't pay me back, then it's okay. I'll just write it off. No, do not write that off. You hassle me about that stuff. I want you up in the middle of the night asking me, where is my money? I want you to go Stewie Griffin on me. Okay, maybe not Stewie Griffin, because he messed Brian up in that episode. But Brian got his revenge, though. So I'm like, not like that. But like, you know, you catch what I'm saying, because I'm like, no, it's stuff like that. My thing is like, I don't give out my money. I can't remember the last time I gave out. Oh, actually, you know, no, last time I did give out money, it was $5 to a friend of mine's in school. And I remember he asked me, I can't remember what he needed the $5 for, but I remember he told me he was going to pay me back next day. Next day when I seen him, I was just all like, hey, yo, where's my money at? And he had the money and stuff, and so I was just like, all right, cool. Like, my day was chill. How was yours? And so, but that's just overall me. Like, I don't trust, I'm not trading. Like, I am with like certain people. If like, you know, if there's somebody out there that like really needs it and they never ask me, then I'm like, okay, you know, but it's like, if it's like a day to day and it's like, you don't really know what that's what I'm like, nah, I don't know. I'm like, I'm gonna have to, you know, I'm gonna have to pull a wild card on this one. I really don't know about this, because it don't seem like right and stuff. So, but anyways, but I do think that it's okay though. Like, you know, it's okay to ask, like, if you are struggling and things, like, and that's, you know, overall, like, I feel like that's, at the end of the day, really the only reason why. It's like, if you're struggling. But it's like, I know people would be like, well, if I have an addiction, if I want to get me some things and I can't get, I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, and this is, you know, stuff that I've been in, there's been times where I want to get me a pair of shoes, but I'm like, I spent my money on something else, right? I spent my money on something else like the month prior. So now, like, you know, a new pair of shoes done came out, where I'm like, dang, I'm like, I don't even got the money this week to even buy. I gotta pay bills and stuff. So, at the end of the day, there's all of these people around me that I can ask. I'm not going to ask them. Because I should have been, my thing is this. It's my fault for not, you know, for not being aware of these shoes coming out. You know, like, it just overall using shoes as an example. It really can be anything at the end of the day. But just, you know, using me for an example, at the end of the day, I should have known that those shoes was coming out. I should have had some money saved over for those shoes. So if I don't have no money saved over for those shoes, I guess I'm not getting those shoes. Now, if people would be like, oh, I'll help you, like, nope, I'm not getting them. I'm like, I'm not, like, I can't put down somebody's conscience, because I feel like with some cases, and I'm, you know, I don't really know. I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't want it to be like an ongoing situation where I'm like, oh, well, that person is going to help me out. So I'm like, before it even gets to that point, I'm just going to be like, nah, sorry. I'm like, I don't want you to help me out with any, like, unless I'm struggling, then okay. But if I'm struggling to get me some shoes, let me struggle to get some. I want you to laugh at me for not being able to get these shoes. That's the overall, the mentality I have with that. Because I'm like, nah, I'm not going to ask somebody for some stuff like that. So I'm like, it's either I don't get them, or overall, I feel like a sneeze coming. So I just warning, I may sneeze at some point in time, so don't be alarmed. But, yeah, I'm like, it's just something where I'm like, no, I can't do it. Like, I do feel like that pride thing does exist, so it's like, it will be a little bit hard for me, even if I am struggling. I'm like, it's still gonna be hard for me to ask a person for money and stuff. I'm like, I'm just gonna have to wait, just, you know, live that life of struggling and things, and just wait until I do get some money in or whatever. But that's the thing, though, and I know, you know, to overall respond to this woman on her whole theory about why a man should never ask a woman for money. So here's the thing, right? And I'm like, before I even get into this, I want you to live out these scenarios. I want you to think about this stuff. Don't be like, oh, that'll never happen. This, so, like, all right, there we go. Okay, I told y'all a sneeze was gonna happen. So, but anyways, I don't want nobody being like, okay, that'll never happen. That's unrealistic. There's nothing that I will say, like, if I'm like, okay, what if he gets kidnapped by some UFOs or something? Okay, that's unrealistic. That ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna say some realistic stuff. Some stuff that's actually happened on this planet called Earth, okay? So, let's say your significant other needs to pay somebody back, right? Pay somebody back. This person, the person that he needs to pay back, they're halfway crazy, okay? Like, they don't play about money, okay? They got like this like mob mentality when it comes to their money and stuff. So they ask you, and it's happened. I mean, it's been portrayed in movies. It's happened in real life. So I'm saying, even when it's portrayed in movies, it's had to come from something. Ain't something like that just gonna be written up in things. So unless it's like, yeah, some like fictional, but I feel like them like realistic like movies and like realistic settings and all of that, it ain't like no Avatar or no Star Wars or no settings like that where I'm like, nah, it's like some like real life settings. Like, it's had to come from something, okay? So, anyways, your significant other needs money. He asks you. You say no because you're like, you're a man, you figure it out. Next day, your significant other is dead. Because they didn't have the money to pay that person. So that person came up to their house, guns blazing, shot up the place, killed your significant other. Now what do? And I know people are going to be like, well, that'll never happen. That's the thing. Do you know that? Do you know that that will never happen? See, I like putting things like that in a person's mind because I'm like, okay, if they're like, if they need to pay somebody back, they need to pay somebody. I'm like, and if they tell me, hey, yo, this person's crazy, this, that, and blah, 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 like, and I'm just like, okay, well, you're a man, you figure it. Like, I'm not going to say that to somebody. If they're telling me that this person's crazy, I'm like, okay, I trust you. But I'm like, if you are lying and this person doesn't even exist, like, no, this person's taking your money so they can go out and get them the latest J's, or they could go and get them a outfit, or whatever and stuff. If I see them the next day rocking a new pair of Jordans, like, oh yeah, they wrote it off, so I just went ahead and got me some new Jordans, I would push that person over, snatch them Jordans off their feet, and I'm like, this is mine. I'm like, don't do that to me no more. So yeah, if it's stuff like that, but if it's a situation where it's like, no, like they, overall, like they need the money, you didn't give it to them and now they're dead. Or let's say if it was like another scenario, they become a drug dealer. They get caught up with that lifestyle and now they're making money by dealing crack or dealing meth or dealing whatever, like, so and people, I know, look, don't give me that like, oh, that'll never happen. You do not know that. So that's why I'm like, look, it is okay to not be trusting with giving out money. But if somebody is struggling, it's like, hey, yo, help them out. Like, my thing is, like, look, I've seen, and I'm like, because I live outside of Seattle. So there's been times I've seen, homeless people and stuff. And, I mean, of course, but there's been situations and there's been times where I've seen, like mothers out there struggling. I've seen, like, old elderly people out there struggling. Like, I've seen that stuff, and I'm like, okay, I gotta, like, I gotta do something. I gotta help them out. So there's been times where I'm like, look, there's tips that I ain't made from work. There's been times I can't remember the most I've ever given a homeless person, but I think it's definitely under 20. Like, it's definitely been under 20. I can't remember if it was 20 or if it was 15, but I was just like, there's been times I've seen them struggling, and I'm like, hey, yo, if this can get them a meal, if this can get them something to eat, okay, cool. So I'm like, yeah, my thing is, like, I've seen people that look my age out there homeless. So that's why I'm like, man, it's like that lifestyle, it's no joke. And if I could do something to, like, help them out, like, I will do something to help them out. But I'm not going to be like, oh, and there's situations where it's like there's people out there where they're just drugged out. And, you're like, okay, well, I'm obviously not. This man's yelling at traffic, thinking he's like a Star Wars character or something. Like, he out here just living a wild life. So, yeah, it's like stuff like that. I know people will be like, well, they're no different. No, they're using their money to buy crack. Like, if I'm gonna be truthfully honest, like, that's why I'm like, yeah, somebody out there, if a homeless person with some kids come up to me talk about, hey, can I just get, because I feel like in situations like that, they're never gonna ask you for money. They're gonna ask you just like, hey, can you buy me some food or something? Because I've done stuff like that. I'm like, I remember this one dude, he came up to me and he asked me, he didn't even want money, he just wanted me to get, I think that's what he wanted. He wanted popcorn and orange juice. Odd combo, but I was just all like, hey, yo, this is what that man wants, this is where I'm gonna get him. And I'm like, and I started thinking, like, maybe that was like a childhood, like, meal that he liked to, like, have or something. Like, he just like popcorn and orange juice. So I'm like, hey, I ain't gonna deny that from that man. Like, at the end of the day, I know what is he gonna do bad with that? It's like, so I'm like, yeah, but like, besides, like, eat it, that ain't bad. So I'm like, yeah, it's like, to do whatever I possibly can to help somebody out, I will do that. So yeah, if it's to help somebody out in the right way, I think it's okay. Regardless of who it is, your significant other, family, friend, homeless person, random person. If you're doing it for good intentions, okay. Now, if you don't trust it, that's okay too. You don't have to trust it. You can trust it or not trust it. At the end of the day, it's your money. Do what you want to do with it. Is that how that commercial went? It's your money. Well, how'd that commercial go? Not the one where it was all like, it's my money and I need it now. Dang, what was that commercial? I can't remember. But anyways, but yeah, it's like, at the end of the day, it's your money, so whatever you want to do with it, it is your choice, alright? So, anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 34 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at TMossBoss. Make sure you all follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. And if you're purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your next purchase. So, that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.